We had somebody, a teacher from high school passed away like recently, Miss Vinell or something like that.
Vivian Larson, yeah, she
Yeah,
passed
Vivian
away
Larson.
recently. Yeah, it was a bummer. Um, oh, it's problem with the live stream.
Oh,
It's coming back up. Yeah, Vivian Larson. She was a counselor when we were in high school, and she passed away suddenly. And it was weird because she just became, I think, part of Aloni's
Like board of trustees or some shit.
yeah, something like that. And she was really cool. Like we were friends on Facebook, and she always posted like really positive stuff. And it was a shame that she passed away suddenly. And I don't know, like for people in my class, in our my class, I guess, because you didn't graduate with me, Blue, even though we should have, because um, I was held back in school. But yeah, it's a bummer that that she passed away, because I had no idea until somebody posted about it in the Newark page, and it's a shame because she was really inspirational. She always posted like really positive stuff, and yeah, we lost a real one. So
Yeah, it's so funny because like Kronos and I went to the same high school, but for some reason the class of '98 think I was part of their class.
yeah,
So like
yeah,
I'm an international super spy in the class of '98's Facebook group. So hopefully nobody kicks me out of there.
yeah.
it's hilarious. I'm in one of those. Not that year, but I'm in a couple of Facebook groups because everyone thinks I graduated that year. I'm like, nope, but I'll hang out in your group.
Yeah, most of my friends are the class below me, but it's all good. Never all as fuck.
All right.
Where we going, guys?
Yeah, I was trying to pull up the list, but I mean, we all know, E3
Oh,
happened over the past couple days, so that's probably the
Oh
most first if
man,
you
let's
guys
get
would like
into
to.
it.
let's deep dive.
Well, let's go to day one, because day one was
Ubisoft wasn't Ubisoft day one.
was it? I thought it was the first thing I saw. I think was Bethesda and Xbox.
I thought that was day two because I think day one there's literally only like one presenter or one um
Yeah, day one
uh,
was Ubisoft, Gearbox.
oh okay, there was good much.
Okay, so Gearbox didn't really. They made an announcement for a spin-off of Borderlands for Tiny Tina, and it looks like it's going to be more of an RPG and sort of Dungeons and Dragons meets Borderlands, which I'm interested in because the DLC in Borderlands 2, I think it was, she had a really hilarious DLC, which was basically like Dungeons and Dragons,
Hmm.
and Tiny Tina is like one of the best characters in the game. So yeah, I'm
Wait, is
interested in playing that.
Tiny Tina is the fat one, right? Or is
No,
she
No,
the
no,
one
she's
that's
a
that's
that
little
Ellie.
she's a little
Loki?
kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, and what was it? Is it Borderlands 3? Was that the last one or Borderlands 4? Shit, I can't remember. 3,
Borderlands 3
Three
is
right?
the last one.
three was the last one.
Yeah, it's funny how in Borderlands 3, how she's older now, and she talks about how like she dates like troubled girls and this and that, and have like daddy issues, and that's like when she talks about that shit, it's just hella fucking funny.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
the voice actress for her is like
Isn't
hilarious.
it?
Oh, the
Is
voice
it?
actress for her. It's no, the voice actress for her is the same voice actress that does Aloy. Michelle. No, not Michelle. Damn, her last name's Birch. Hang on. But she's voice actresses a lot of like fairly popular characters. Like
Ashley
she's
Burke.
in Ashley Birch, yes.
Yeah.
So she voices Aloy, she's the voice of Titantina, she's the voice of Kate Bishop in the Marvels game, which is Prodigy's favorite game. Um, what if she's in what is it, Life is Strange? She's in one of the voices in that. There's a couple other ones. She voices a lot.
Wait, she's the voice of what's his name in Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, she's the voice of Aloy. She's also the voice of Mel in Last of Us 2. She does a lot of work.
A lot of anime too. God damn, she's got a long. That with voice actors, they usually have a long laundry list of voices they do, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
She also has her own show with her brother. It's pretty funny.
Then you got heart. I don't know who that was.
I don't remember the name, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all good. So yeah, and then Ubisoft also announced what was the they changed the name.
Avatar? Oh, yeah.
Well, the Avatar game well, it was just like basically a cinematic. So it could be interesting if you think about like Ubisoft games, the way they have like the hub system where like you take over an area and like you control it, stuff like that. It could be really cool for like an Avatar. When we talk about Avatar, we're talking about not The Last Airbender. We're talking about Avatar, the James Cameron movie franchise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So wait, did you not watch the gameplay from? So currently or before the game was Rainbow Six game, it was Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Yeah.
They changed the name to Rainbow Six Extraction. So they showed. I watched. I think it's like 12 minutes of gameplay of like one mode from the game. Apparently, they're going to talk about more modes in July because there's some. I guess there's one secret mode and a couple other modes they haven't really like give too much. But basically, I guess there will be your basic team deathmatch, and there's a couple other modes that they're kind of hush hush about. So I'm interested in seeing those. But people are like, well, where are the unique modes? Why are they showing us this weird, like, funky story-based mode? But I'm interested in seeing it. Rainbow Six Siege was a runaway hit, and it's the same team making this, so I'm excited. I mean, you get Rainbow Six controls against zombies, but they don't look like zombies. They look like aliens. They literally look like the aliens from Call of Duty Ghosts. Have you ever played the like alien invasion thing? So
your video is frozen, by the way, man. I don't know what happened. I can hear you talking. But yeah.
Yeah. Here, I can hear you, but you're frozen. You're
I
lagging.
can hear you. Lips are moving. That's fine.
Yeah, the Extraction looked pretty good. I think it was a smart move by Ubisoft to change the name from Quarantine to Extraction because we just went through a fucking quarantine, and we're still kind of going through it. But yeah, it looks interesting to me. It looks like a Ubisoft Rainbow Six game. And just with some crazy aliens, and it looked pretty cool. Even though, like, the one mode they showed, people are saying, well, where's more modes? But the mode they were showing, it was basically like you were in the dark zone, and the longer you progressed in the dark zone, the better loot you can get. But if you died in that dark zone, apparently you can get snatched up and, like, taken over by the aliens, and then the people that you're playing with have to, like, extract you. So I thought that was pretty cool. So people like complain about like that one mode they showed. The one mode looked pretty good, and nobody else is really doing anything like that right now. So kudos on them. I expect more modes, but I mean even the regular mode looked pretty interesting to me. So I hope to see more from it.
Sorry, that was a game with the tar people, right? The tar monsters and shit. Okay.
Yeah, and it was
kind of.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say it kind of gave me a little bit of a not Stranger Things. Oh God, what's that? The one with Norman Reedus that came out a couple years ago. Death Stranded. It kind of gave me a little bit. Well, I think with just the slug, the oil monsters, because it made me think of the monsters that were in that game a little bit.
Oh, the BTs, yeah, because they don't move like zombies. They like turn into liquid and then like skate across the ground and then rematerialize into solid and stuff. It was like, but then like the equipment you get is different too. It's like you get these weird like spike grenade type things, and like it looked like some kind of weird like shields or whatnot. It was kind of interesting, but it looks fun. I'm interested in it. I do want to see more modes. So,
well, what I thought was cool is like the whole like goo that they had on the ground. It reminded me of StarCraft with the Zerg and the Creep. Because they said that when they had like the goo on the ground, the aliens or zombies or whatever, they can move more quickly and like teleport and all that shit. And that's basically how it is in StarCraft. When they had the creep, the Zerg can move quickly or more quickly on the creep. They would regenerate faster, and then you could put in like Nidus canals, which are basically like teleportation devices to get around. So I thought that was like a really cool implementation into a first person shooter. To have that, it's not a total ripoff, but I think it's just like a really neat idea to throw into like a Rainbow Six game. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna get me into playing another Rainbow Six game. So
yeah. It looks like though it's a 3-person co-op game though. I don't know why it's not 4. It should be 4, but from the video I saw, it looked like there's only 3 people in the squad, unless the person you extract adds to your squad, which I didn't really see that in the gameplay. I hope it does. That'd be great. Like you get rescued, kind of like Left 4 Dead and even Gears of War has like elements of that. And there's what's that other game?
Didn't
There's one more
Division
game.
only have wasn't Division only 3 players or like
No, Division 4.
Oh, it's 4. Okay.
Yeah. What else we got?
There's a whole lot. So.
Oh, at least day one. You won day by day, right?
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about Avatar. You know, it was basically just a cinematic, but it was still cool to see like basically it's the Avatar. I forget the Nawalis or something like that. I can't remember.
Wasn't it
The cat people?
Yeah. You know.
Isn't it the Navi?
Yeah,
Is that them?
I think Avatar it's such a strange movie because it broke all these records, but nobody that I've ever talked to can like really recall the names of like a single character in the movie. Like, can you like? You remember any of the names?
I just remember Sam Worthington. That's it.
You don't remember any of the characters' names?
That's the actor. I don't know his name in the.
Yeah. So if somebody told me that this movie didn't really exist, I'd be like, okay.
You know, it's funny. The first name that popped in my head was Matanwari, which is like that's from what's the name of that book? Not Primal. The one where the guy he fights like a demon in the Amazon jungle or something like that, and there's a monster called Mapawari, where he becomes that, and he basically becomes like a primal beast.
Mapawari. Yeah.
Yeah. What book is that?
I remember. It's a Jeremy Robinson book, right? I just fucking read it a little while ago too. Yeah, Altered.
Altered, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't think of. I know that like the only actor or I can remember the actresses and actor, but I can't remember any of the fucking characters' names.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that shit's weird. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just showed like basically a cinematic. If they do it like a normal Ubisoft game, I think it could be pretty cool to have like an Avatar type world. Avatar's like a really weird franchise, you know, from what I talked about before about not remembering the actual like names of people in the movie, which is weird because it's like one of the highest selling movies of all time. But also the fact that they're making 3 movies in a row, like back to back, like at the same time. They're filming all back to back, and then they're also making a game. So it's just like I wonder. Hopefully they don't overload the world with Avatar content.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming. Within the next year, it's either this December or next December. Like, we're going to be flooded with Avatar stuff.
You know what's funny? Since I brought up Death Stranding, I guess it was announced there's going to be a director's cut, and it's going to be ported over to the PS5, which sounds fucking dope. I'm down for that.
Did you watch the video? Like, it's like they basically cut it like it was a Metal Gear Solid game. It was hilarious. Like you go into like a bunker and the main character is like finding a box to like hide in. It's pretty funny.
I watched that trailer. I actually didn't see the trailer.
Yeah, I mean it's funny if you're a Hideo Kojima fan. If you're not a Hideo Kojima fan, then you're just like, what? He just found a box. It's stupid. But Metal Gear is like one of the best games in my opinion, like ever made. So the whole franchise.
Yeah, so the game's gonna be in 4K. It just I think it's gonna be even great for still on the PS5.
Yeah. I'm looking for. I'll get it again. I mean, it'd be nice if it was like a free upgrade, right? But probably
it would be instead of buying the whole game again.
Yeah.
But then again,
I haven't finished the game. True.
Then again, this director's cut because hopefully there's like more hours of content of that. Because I mean, the original game was pretty fucking long.
Yeah, I was about to say I got halfway through and I felt like I spent forever on it.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to day 2, and this is the Bethesda Xbox presentation. Which I gotta tell you from the jump, I was kind of bummed because usually when Bethesda does their E3 presentation, like you get to see all the people that make the Bethesda games, like all the employees, and like seeing what they do in like real life, and like watching them make a game, and like talking about how like they're all basically like a family, and it's always like really wholesome to like watch them talk about their love for games and how their work life and personal lives are going. So I always look forward to like Bethesda like doing their thing for E3. But this year you got none of that because Xbox, Microsoft bought them, and so they just kind of cut out this whole section of giving a fuck about people that make your games, and they just decided to like announce some games through Bethesda and Xbox, which is, I mean, kudos to Xbox because the vast majority of the content that they showed are going to be exclusives, which good because I need a reason to buy an Xbox Series X. Like, I want to buy one, but you need to give me a reason to fucking buy one, you know?
Yeah.
And they showed some games that have me wanting to buy one. So what did you guys think about the overall Xbox and Bethesda presentation?
For me, I was kind of underwhelmed with like what they. I mean, because past E3, I'm so used to like a giant fucking stage and people coming out and they talk about the game, they do like gameplay and demos and stuff like that. But it wasn't like that. It was just a bunch of clips of games that are coming up and like there wasn't like any real details given about the game. Like I actually got bored and stopped watching it. If it wasn't for you saying like, oh, there's this one vampire game that looks fucking dope. I was like, all right, let me go back in there and see exactly what they have on the table. And actually, yeah, some of the games they showed later on actually caught my interest. But overall, I mean, it was just I was just whelmed. What are you, Ninja?
I didn't watch their actual presentation. I just watched like the games that were, their standalone presentations or whatever kind of clips. And I wanted to see more Starfield because I've been waiting for more details on this game. We got a cinematic about it, so it looked like I can't tell if this is like going to be a more polished version of No Man's Sky or if this is going to be. Apparently, the director says this is going to be Skyrim in space, and I've never played Skyrim, and I know there's a lot of fans out there, so it's interesting to see how that's going to play out when they're doing this with space, which means it's probably going to be a very large game. But I want to know how combat works, because in Skyrim there's like bow and arrows and dragons and stuff. Are we going to see dragons in space or something? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that works. We got to see Halo Infinite's multiplayer. So that was kind of interesting. There's some new elements like doing the grappling and stuff. You can grapple to areas. You can also grapple equipment to you, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty cool.
I gotta be honest, it looked pretty impressive. Like the Halo multiplayer. You know, Halo multiplayer has always been, really good. But they're putting in things that make it even better, like the customization of your Spartans and the various other things, like Old Ninja was saying, like the grappling hook type deal. That looked really cool. You can be more mobile. They're bringing in like various maps. They're making larger maps. I think it looked really good. I'm not. Y'all know me. I'm not a fucking Halo fan. Even though I played pretty much all of them. But this one,
I was about to say, we played Halo 5.
Yeah. When I say I don't like something, like I actually play it. You know what I mean? I need a reason. I don't want to pass I try not to pass judgment on things that I haven't actually consumed. And Halo has just been, kind of meh. Especially because they get all these accolades, and I'm like, well, Unreal is better. And people get mad. They're like, what's Unreal? I'm like, bitch, you're not a gamer. But also, Unreal hasn't come out with anything other than an engine for the past fucking 15 years now, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this looks really good. I don't know much about the story, which is pretty much irrelevant to most people. But the multiplayer looks pretty well done so far.
I did like the. Sorry, I gotta continue on the Halo.
Hmm.
I was just gonna say, like, I did like the gameplay and footage they showed of was it Project Gotham? Is that the racing game? What's Xbox's first? Like, what's Xbox's racing game that's like Gran Turismo?
Oh, Forza.
Forza.
Yeah,
Forza. Yeah, Forza.
This is Forza 5 now, I think, right?
Yeah. Well,
I think it's like Forza 7 now.
I think they're rebranding it, so they're going back to 1, basically. But,
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, the gameplay for that was, I mean, just the cars alone and like the scenery and stuff like that. Like they demoed like how you can be riding in sand dunes in fucking Mexico and like doing all this crazy shit.
Forza Horizon 5. Yeah.
Oh, so it is 5. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
but just the gameplay looked pretty fucking dope. Oh,
here comes Stitch.
Yeah, Stitch in the building.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Yo. We're talking about E3 and Forza.
Okay. I jumped in the middle of the. I heard Danny talk about it. I didn't know if he was done with his
Who's
Who? I don't know who that is.
I'm rusty. Oh, my God.
That's all bad.
It's a good
Oh,
game,
man.
that shit. But no, yeah, I was gonna say that, yeah, with Forza, like, I don't know, just the sceneries and the background, it just looks like a fun game to just drive around and play. But like some of they're trying to tie in like a little bit of what is it called? Rocket League had in there, so they have like little games that you can play where you drive around like popping pinatas and stuff like that. So I'm like,
Oh yeah,
it's
I
gonna
saw
work
that.
for a racing game, but I don't know, it is what it is.
Uh, a lot of racing games always have like some weird mode nowadays. Need for Speed does it. I guess Gran Turismo 7 is supposed to do it. It's supposed to have some weird stuff, so we'll see. We haven't seen a whole lot, but I've been hearing some stuff that it's going to have a lot of crazy stuff in Part 7. So,
Mm.
All right, Stitch, how's your night going, man? Stitch,
Stitch, you there?
unmute.
I mean,
I feel like I'm on a Zoom call or something.
yeah, right.
Unmute your mic.
Goddamn.
All right, he's not even. Now he's muted. All right. Well, I guess he's doing something. Anyway, yeah, Forza looked interesting. I didn't watch too much about Forza because, I'm not a big Forza fan. I'm also not a big Gran Turismo fan either. Like, I don't like realistic racing games because I can just drive my car.
Yeah.
I drive two relatively fast cars, so yeah, I don't in motorcycles. So yeah, it doesn't give me hype. But I
Yeah,
like.
I'm into.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm into the Need for Speed type games
Need
and
for Speed,
Burnout.
yeah. I
Those
like
games are
arcade
fun.
ones.
Animated, yeah.
So what else came for? Let's see, the Bethesda. Okay, so Redfall was the game that I was
Oh
talking about at the
yeah.
very end, and like if you were watching, the Bethesda, Xbox presentation, you're like, oh, it's kind of boring, and you kind of cut off and you didn't watch the end part. I think one of the best games, even though it's just a cinematic, and usually I'm like, okay, cinematics, they're whatever. You can see no real gameplay, but they have this game called Redfall, and it's apparently people, like humans with some sort of like supernatural powers and guns, against vampires, and it looked fucking amazing. Whoever cut together that trailer, kudos to you. You had me thoroughly invested, and if it's Xbox only, then yeah, I'm 100% gonna buy an Xbox just for that game, because it's supposed to be an RPG first-person shooter with you versus, and I think it's supposed to be co-op as well. You versus some vampires. So I'm like, I'm all in. Like, you check the boxes. You got me.
Yeah, that game was pretty fucking badass.
Yeah, I was wondering what the hell everyone kept talking about, and then I guess this is from the studio that made Prey.
Yeah.
And they came back with the 4-player like RPG, but if you watch it, it looks like an action game. It looks like some kind of crazy like squad action game. So I was just like, "Is this an RPG?" Because it doesn't look like an RPG. It looks like an all-out like kind of Left 4 Dead with vampires a little bit. So I was like, "What the hell?"
Mm-hmm.
It looked cool. I mean, I'm down to kill vampires for sure. So that's great.
Yeah, especially because it looked like all the characters, vampire and humans alike, they had different power sets. I'm like, that looks really cool. Like, it looks like they put some thought into it, at least the concept. So it could suck. It could be the next fucking Outriders or goddamn Cyberpunk 2077. But we got some time.
Well,
We got audio from Stitch. All right, Stitch, come in here, man.
Yes. So I was gonna say I don't know if you sort of gave Xbox their props and stuff, but they did pretty well at this E3. We normally give Old Ninja a lot of shit, rightfully so, because he's been on his old ex-girlfriend for about a decade now.
Oh my god!
But I mean, they came through and everything. I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of the actual presentations and stuff, but I did get to hear like a lot of reviews and a lot of people's takes on it, and they were pretty impressed. And it sounds like the Game Pass option is really what they're trying to push their consumers towards, and it seems like a really good idea, especially how they're going to have stuff like out almost like instantly on the Game Pass. I think it's a good model for them, especially converting from how I guess they thought they were going to do the whole digital multimedia aspect of it with what was it? Was it the Kinect, where you could not the Kinect, the Snap or whatever the fuck it was when they were trying to promote. Oh, you can control your Xbox with your voice now and stuff. And
that was Connect. It was Connect.
Yeah.
And you can control with your movement with hand gestures and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then they completely abandoned.
Whoa!
they completely abandoned it, and it was essentially a waste of time. And then also when they tried to say it's going to be a system where you're going to have to be connected to the internet 24/7, and then they walked that back. So it's good that they seem to have a really good plan, and they have it set up to succeed. So kudos to Xbox on that.
Can somebody break down what the fuck the Game Pass is? Because they kept showing it, but I was like, okay, what the fuck is Game Pass? It's just like fucking like PlayStation Plus.
It's basically it's like PlayStation Plus, but they have like way more games.
They have a shit ton of games, and there's like games that will release solely on Game Pass only. So you don't have to buy it. If you have a Game Pass subscription, you can try it out and play it as long as you want.
Yeah, Adam Sessler said it was just like Netflix for the Xbox for games.
Yeah, he did.
It's good and it's bad. I mean, it's the same thing I have a problem with. I have a problem with digital games. I mean, I'll say it again. It's all fun and games until they shut down the fucking DRM servers. You know what I mean? They don't own shit. You know, and you pay for your for your Game Pass for years. And things that you thought were yours on whatever system, now they shut it down. It's like it's not yours anymore. Like you cannot play the game anymore. So I'll always prefer the physical game, like the disc. But I understand the appeal, especially from a business perspective. Is like gaming as a service. You make way more money. You know, you don't have to deal with like shipping out fucking discs and physical copies of anything, and you own the actual rights to the game. And when you're done with it, you can shut it down. When you want to update it, you can update it and like stop people from playing it until you update it. Like I understand the appeal from it from both a business and a consumer perspective. As a consumer, if you want to save some money, definitely get a Game Pass. Like because you can play a whole bunch of games for on the cheap. You just pay a low monthly fee and you get to play a huge library of games. But like I said, there's a downside that most people just don't seem to comprehend. Like, just this week, they just announced that they're shutting down, the servers on the PS3. It's a long time ago, obviously, but for the
GTA Online?
Yeah, the GTA Online. It's getting shut down. Just imagine that, but with a game like that was single player, and they just shut down the servers, and now you can't play it. That's what it's going to be like. Because it's happened to me with, like, music. And it's going to happen again. If you have older, it was supposed to happen like earlier last year, or I'm sorry, late last year, with the PlayStation Store. Or maybe it was earlier this year, with the PlayStation Store.
It's a couple months ago.
Yeah. With like, the Vita. I think it was the Vita, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Vita. That's what it was.
So I mean, just beware.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking over some of the other games that were announced with Xbox. I know one of them that got my dick hard was the flight simulation, but that's just because they kind of integrated Top Gun into that. At first, when they dropped the trailer, I was like, oh shit. I was about to text up Stitch like, oh shit, we're getting another 8th Combat. But it was flight simulation. I was like, okay, that's not. I mean, because flight simulation is fun and stuff, but like, some combat.
But I mean, the flight simulator, if you're like a plane nerd, like in aeronautics, that's fucking amazing because they integrated with Google Maps. So you can like fly to like real airports and real places on the planet, and it seems really cool. I'm just not into that.
Well, it's cool. So if you have VR, there is a Google. You basically can download Google Earth onto your VR, and you can travel the fucking world because they have Street View all over the place. And like the first thing I did was go to my childhood house and like drop the pin where my house was and just sat there and looked out my house from fucking my room basically. It's a fucking trip, especially when you look at the house that you're currently in. You're like looking out while you're inside. That shit it gets kind of meta. All right, let's see what else was there. Well, you guys want to go to Square Enix? So they on day 2 too.
Oh boy.
Yeah, let's go into it. Go ahead, man.
Well, I know the first game they showed was the Guardians of the Galaxy game,
Yeah,
which
this is.
I wasn't expecting at all.
Yeah, me either. There was like no precursor to this.
No. And it's kind of like with the movie franchise. Like there was no precursor for that movie, and it did very well. But like this has nothing to do with the fucking movie. It's its own. But they like the characters don't even look like the characters in the goddamn movie, which I like. It's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, just it has that same combat style as the Batman Telltale games. How like the way you treat your other teammates have an impact like later. Like there's a scene where Drax wants to throw Rocket over a fucking gorge to get to some fucking electrical panel, and like you as Quinn, you're like our Star Lord. You tell him like, okay, just go ahead and do it. Like you have the option of not for him not to do it or for him to do it. And when he ends up choosing for him to throw Rocket, Rocket gets fucking mad, and it says like up on top like Rocket remember this and like he has like less respect for you or something like that. So I kind of like that, and I'm really interested to see how the gameplay changes when you like I guess basically fuck over your teammates.
Yeah, I liked it. I wish Prodigy was on here so we can argue about it. Cause I know that he didn't like it at all. Like he's equating it to basically the Avengers, and I'm just like, it's not. It's by a totally different studio. I know it's by Square Enix, but it's by Eidos and not Crystal Dynamics. So they're two totally different studios, and this game is single player. So there's no co-op. There's no online play. Nothing like that. The character, even though the character models don't look like the Guardians of the Galaxy that we've seen in the movies, they don't look as bad as the Avengers characters. Like these look like it's the only person that looks kind of weird is actually Peter Quill, Star-Lord. He looks a little different, but it's still like the voice acting that's done, the mocap that's done is really well. All the other sorry, there's a fucking moth on me. All the other character models look excellent. Drax. I love the way that Rocket looks with his goatee with the dice on it.
Groot looking.
Yeah, Groot looks great. Gamora looks great. The graphics overall look a lot better than the Avengers. The combat looks really well. The fact that you're playing as Star-Lord, but you can also control the other characters, do like these combination attacks. I think it looks really good. And plus, the dialogue trees and like Blue was saying, the choices that you make really matter. I thought that it looked a lot better than the Avengers. I have higher hopes, even though I've been let down by fucking probably 3 or 4 games in a row with my hot takes. But this does look better. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty good. I obviously was a little bit nervous thinking the whole Avengers aspect of it and being compared to that, but once you read the details and go a little bit further in depth, you see that okay, it's different team that's behind making the game. It's not multiplayer like you said. You're pretty much just controlling Star-Lord for the majority of it. So I'm intrigued. I enjoyed the Walking Dead Telltale aspects of being able to pick and choose my adventure to an extent. So it'll be interesting to see how they put this in with a Marvel story behind it. I think that's going to be pretty dope to see how your interaction with characters, potential enemies, and doing relationships with certain people, how that progresses in the story. So that part has me intrigued. I don't know the combat. I don't know if it's going to be quick timey or if they're going to actually be able to have action why can't I speak? Sequences. Yeah. Or if it's just going to be like kind of like, all right, hit X at this moment, and then you do like a team move. But no, there's still time till that game. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it looked like when I don't know if you saw the actual gameplay because I watched like an extended gameplay thing where like he was fighting and then like you pressed the D-pad instead of like the analog sticks, and the D-pad would, or maybe it was like you're pressing like an R button or one of the triggers, but it brought up like a whole new menu where you could like kind of like synthesize with like another team member or all of them.
Okay.
And so it would slow down time for you to like pick what power you wanted to use from your teammates, and then put you back in. So it seemed kind of interesting.
that'd be pretty dope. So then that would sort of remind me of like Marvel Ultimate Alliance in a way, except it's more detailed. It's not a top-down scrolling adventure, but in that game you could sort of team up and pick your combos. Be like, oh, I need to team up with Drax to do this move because it'll help me take out these enemies better than if I team up with Rocket or something. So I think that would be pretty dope. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the gameplay and more as it comes out. It was a nice, pleasant surprise. I mean, I saw the Twitter was going off about it. I was like, oh shit, what's going on? Guardians of the Galaxy? Okay. So it was really cool. It was exciting to see. And even if you did have a bad taste with Avengers, you can kind of be done with that. And I guess we'll talk about what Avengers has coming up or whatever, even though none of us is really playing it, but it'll let you sort of move on and kind of have some closure with Avengers and waiting for Black Panther and Spider-Man and for being disappointed as a whole with that game.
Yeah, especially because they announced the well, we already knew about the Wakanda DLC for the Avengers game, but they announced some other Avengers stuff. I'm just like I'm not interested, because they just left like a really bad taste in my mouth, like with the way that the game was launched. It wasn't really well done, but Guardians of the Galaxy looked much more well thought out, but it could still suck, so I don't know. It's by a different studio. It looked more interesting, so we will see. Like I said, I was interested with the Avengers game until I played the demo, and I was like, okay, this game could be good if they fix these things, and they didn't fix them, so yeah.
Yeah, too much time has gone past with Avengers for me to really care about even picking that up. And I mean, it sucks on the studio aspect of it because I'm sure they face challenges with COVID and patching stuff or releasing DLC or add-on materials. But I mean, when the stove's hot, and it's cooled down on that Avengers game. I mean, you'll have your people that will love it just because it's got an Avengers sticker on it, and I'm sure they'll be excited about playing this Black Panther storyline and eventually, I guess, Spider-Man. Even though they promised that it's like a pre-order bonus for PlayStation, you get Spider-Man, but they haven't even told anybody when that is supposed to be coming down the line. So a lot of these studios, it seems, they're missing their opportunities to take advantage of things. Same thing with Cyberpunk. I know Cyberpunk, I guess, is getting re-released into the PlayStation Store, but I don't really care. I don't know other people that are excited about that. And then unfortunately, Prodigy isn't here because I know he's a big, what's it called?
Buddha fan?
Yeah. No, The Last of Us 2 and everything. It would be cool to have some DLC to be on the way or some news about that, or even some multiplayer news, but we haven't heard anything, and it's like, okay, temperature in the room is kind of dimming on me wanting to even pick that game back up and play it again for multiplayer, because I'm more excited about some other stuff coming out, like Horizon, Forbidden West and stuff.
West Side?
Rather than going back and playing some of these games for the DLC stuff. So I mean, it does suck because of COVID and being able to produce this extra content, but I mean, it is what it is.
Hold on, this is what's weird for me, okay? Because obviously I'm in the IT industry. I've been in the IT industry for more than half my life at this point, so it's over 20 years. And when COVID dropped, like, yeah, it was bad, but like my whole team, we just thought I work from home anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. But I don't know why other these gaming studios couldn't shift for people to work from home. Like, if you're in IT, working from home, unless you live in unless you can't separate your work life from your personal life, then there's an issue there, right? But most people in the IT industry, especially if you're a programmer, you probably have a decent amount of money. You probably have a decent place where you can separate your work life and personal life. But as far as connectivity goes to actually develop shit, there's really no excuse for me for being in IT to get shit done during COVID. I understand that we have personal sacrifices, but it's I just VPN into my job, and I use the same resources that I would have if I was in the office, because nobody's developing games. Yeah, you can develop on a really powerful system, but at that same point you could just bring them home, or you develop them on some crazy powerful servers which are external anyway, which you use to you can just remote into them. So I don't understand like the whole thing of like, well, COVID happened last year, so we couldn't do anything. Like unless your team got COVID, like I don't really get it. Like you can definitely like still work a normal work schedule, you know, in this digital realm, and still get shit done. I mean, like my team, we've had literally. I'm not gonna say any because we actually had people die on my team, which is fucking terrible. But I don't think they died from COVID. But we have people die, which that's obviously an issue if you have like people dying. But as far as like just like making basic content and like you can make the same content at home as you can in the office. You can. So this whole honestly, this is kind of going to the end of E3, but the vast majority of games aren't coming out until next year, at the minimum. So I think most of the games that they said were going to come out in 2022, I'm not expecting those ships to come out to like 2023.
Yeah.
So to be honest with you, but it's like at the same time, it's like why can't you make the shift from working from home with the technology that we have, like VPNs and all those other things, and you can't make the shift to do that. Like you should be on the forefront of technology, and you're clearly not.
Yeah.
And that's an issue. Like, and the problem that I have with E3, it's like, okay, listen, like I get COVID happened last year, but at the same time, like, don't make this huge event and attend this huge event when you're not going to tell us shit about games that we're willing to that we're interested in. You know, like there's a whole bunch of games that are missing from E3, whole bunch of games, and the studios were there, you know, having presentations for E3. It's like, listen, if you don't have anything really to share, then just do E3 next year. You know?
Capcom, talking to you.
No. Take-Two Interactive, I'm talking to you specifically. Take-Two Interactive they had the fucking worst E3 showing of all fucking time. Alright, this is what they did. There was a Take-Two Interactive, it was a panel. And I started watching it, and it was about inclusivity and diversity in gaming. It didn't say that in the panel, and it was just like they were doing a panel. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch the panel, and it was all about inclusivity and diversity. I'm like, okay, but it was all basically, it was like me watching a corporate diversity training program, like for 2 hours. I'm like, why are you presenting this for E3? Like, we don't give a fuck about your diversity, like training. You know what I mean? Like, most gamers don't really. I don't fucking care. I care about diversity, yes, but when it comes to like you making a game, and if you're saying that your only E3 entry is this one panel, and it's about diversity in the gaming industry, like, I don't give a fuck. I want to know what you are presenting for me to consume. And I think that's what the vast majority of gamers were expecting, was for them to either announce a game or announce something. They didn't announce shit. They just talked about the lack of diversity in some areas in gaming. I'm like, yeah, I understand that. There's a lack of diversity in gaming. I get that. But when it comes to E3, that's not what I'm here for. Like, it's not what nobody's here for. We're here to like get announcements for new games and where the industry is going. And it was a huge misstep. And I just don't understand their whole point of doing that whole thing. It was fucking stupid.
Sorry.
I think I have an idea on why they did it, but like you said, it's like, so it was an internal thing because they've been in hot water over the last couple years over sexual misconduct and like possibly racial stuff. But I'm like, this is your guys' dirty laundry you're not supposed to be showing at a trade show. Like, what are you making? When is it coming out? If you ain't got that, get the fuck off the stage. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you showing
time?
Yeah, this is shit that you should be telling your employees, not us.
Yes.
We didn't get fucked up. We're not the one getting sued. Y'all are. Y'all fix your shit at home, and maybe it's supposed to be a love letter to or something for the industry as a whole. Then do it like have a different convention or something, not E3. Like, I don't
like
I don't get
Jay-Z's
it.
I'm Sorry album he made for Beyonce for cheating on her.
Yeah, it was just bad. It just looks bad or whatever. Make your own event with something that you plan on releasing, And then at the beginning of it, then you can talk about the steps that your company has taken to make it more diverse, to stop sexual harassment and blah blah blah. But get off the E3 stage with that shit. Like pass the
Yeah.
sticks or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
mean, even if they
don't
were, that's like a 2 sentence like
yeah.
presentation,
It would
not some
it would it would
2 hour thing.
it would be like me going to like Blue's wedding and then proposing to my girlfriend at his wedding. It's like no, it's not the place for that.
Yeah.
Like
So,
this is about people that got like shit to do and like games to actual show. Like we don't care about what's going on behind the scenes at your company when this is the forum to be showing about games or whatever.
I would say like a lot of the content they showed at E3 was like shit we've already seen before. Like there's been YouTube videos out there. They're not even leakage. These are fucking actual like game trailers that have been launched or been released onto YouTube and stuff like that. So
Mm.
if you're gonna show us shit that we've already seen, just don't fucking do it. We need more. You need something more to get excited about your goddamn games. Don't just show the same shit we've seen already.
Well, and especially like with Take Two Interactive, it's like, listen, like you own Rockstar, like we're expecting, maybe a GTA 6, maybe a Bully 2, maybe a fucking some update, like, any updates on any of those games, or Red Dead Redemption, or Red Dead whatever 2. It's like they have all these major franchises that are still making a lot of money, and you're gonna give us literally zero updates on any of those things, or any new franchises, or anything else. But you want to talk to me about diversity and inclusion? Like, yeah, diversity and inclusion, it's a big deal, but that's not what E3 is for. It's not.
Mhm.
So let's just
Like
fucking stop it.
like with the game Redfall, like that game is very fucking diverse. Like
Yeah.
the four teammates, but they didn't throw that shit down your throat. Like you had a black girl with fucking powers. You had like a Latin guy that had like sniper fucking aim and shit like that. You had like a white girl. You had like I think it was the Asian dude. I can't remember what the other guy was, but like he had like a robot and shit like that. Like yeah, that shit was diverse as fuck. Did they throw it down your throat? Nope.
Yeah. Really quick, I want to kind of grab it back. Even though Prodigy's not here, he kept talking about this game that was shown at E3. It was on day one, which was from Software's game Elden Ring. Did y'all see this? Are y'all excited about this?
I mean, it's a Soulsborne type game. So you know me, I'm not like a huge Soulsborne fan, but I understand the appeal to other people. So
Yeah, I've never been a fan of Elden Ring or the Souls games, so I didn't really care. I know Prodigy was all about it. I figured we'd be remiss if we didn't shit on him, but at least mention games that he was excited about. So, also,
Jumping back to Guardians of the Galaxy, that actually comes out this year in October.
all right, hopefully,
That's fine.
if it gets pushed
Hopefully.
back, I mean,
Hopefully.
let's be real. All right, this is Cronus talking to you real. They just announced the game this week, and they're saying it's going to get released in October. That's like 4 months from now. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised. In October, I'll tell you, hey, back in fucking June, I said this is not going to get released, but it got released. But I'll be very surprised if it got released in October of this. If it gets released this year at all, I'd be highly surprised because they just announced the game.
This is gonna be buggy as fuck.
Yeah, and if they do release it this year, and if the game is good, it doesn't seem like it's all fucking broken and shit, then that puts the rest of the gaming industry on notice. Like, why did you push back every game for fucking COVID?
Yep.
So, including God of War. I'm just saying, I really want to play that game. The next God of War. Ragnarok.
Oh. When is Sony doing their thing?
Say again.
When is Sony doing their thing? So
Well,
they have
next
their own
month?
expo?
Honestly,
is it next month?
no, they don't need to. I mean, I think they won E3 by not attending E3. Like seriously, they've had announcements this week, but I think that it was a huge mistake for the gaming industry to really have E3 this year. They could have just pushed it back. They should have just canceled it this year, because I don't think that this E3 with the announcements that they had warranted like a whole event, because the vast majority of the games were 2022, or 2023. A lot of games that got just left off the table. and nobody wants to talk about it. But it's just like, why are we doing this when we already know that these games are getting pushed back? So just you're trying to like force this thing where I get it that COVID happened, they're pushing games back, but you're still pushing for this event, and this is like one of the most underwhelming E3s that I've. It was more underwhelming than last year's.
Was there one last year?
What's up?
I don't
Was
remember.
there one last year?
Yeah. There was one last year. And
Yeah, it was all virtual.
And around those, because they announced games that are coming out that year or this year that came out. Some of them got pushed back, and they also announced, around the same time, the release dates of the Xbox Series X and the PS5. That got announced around the time of last year's E3. With this year, I guess we'll segue a little bit to Nintendo. I was expecting Nintendo to like hit the ground running and just destroy everybody, with their E3 announcements. I was expecting the Nintendo Switch Pro or the Super Nintendo Switch, which is what they should have called it, or what they should call it when it comes out. I was expecting updates on Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4 or 5, I think it's 4, a new Mario game, and a few other things, but I didn't get any of that shit. Like Breath of the Wild, I got a little bit of it. Like I got a hint of Breath of the Wild, which looks amazing. There's some new gameplay elements that I definitely picked up on. But Nintendo dropped the ball too. They dropped the fucking ball. Yeah, they announced Metroid Dread. I get that. That game looks cool too. I'm gonna get it, but it's not the Metroid Prime that I wanted. It's a side scroller, and side scrollers are cool, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted a new Metroid Prime update, but I also understand that last year they had to they changed studios because I guess the studio that was making it wasn't up to Nintendo standards, which I get that. But no real new Mario games. No Nintendo Switch Pro. Which is what they really need right now to really compete with the Xbox and the PlayStation. But they didn't announce any of that shit. So that was a huge letdown for me. I was literally waiting for Tuesday yesterday for Nintendo's Direct, and I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, you got Mario Party Superstar, Super Monkey Ball, Banana Mania, Dragon Ball Z,
Fuck that too.
Kakarot plus New Power Awaken set, WarioWare.
No, that's all. This is what's more insulting.
You get Tony Hawk.
The
Tony
most
Hawk
insulting
Pro Skater
thing,
1 and 2.
They didn't announce the Nintendo Switch Pro, but they announced the fucking game and whatever. Like the tiny fucking thing that we had in like the 1990s, the single player fucking tiny console.
Game.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, it plays 4 Zelda games. I'm like, okay, I guess, but what? That's not what anybody fucking wants. Like, people are gonna buy it, yeah, but we need a new Switch console because the Switch console we have now, it's not up to spec anymore. And they need to fix that.
I think you're right with Sony playing it right by sort of just chilling. And then Sony, I mean, they updated us maybe a month or two ago with their whole state of play. They told us about Horizon. They gave us gameplay. They told us what they're working on, and I'd rather have them just keep it real and just be like, yeah, we're still working or whatever. It's a work day for us, so all the people are in the office, rather than just like blow fucking smoke up our ass and try to get us hyped about stuff that nobody asked for, nobody cares about, nobody's excited for it. I mean, they kept it real. Now, like I said before, Xbox did their thing. I was really impressed with Xbox. I don't really get into the depths of Nintendo too much because I don't have a Switch or whatever, but like Chronos said, he was disappointed with that. So I mean, if you don't have anything really important to say, no one's going to be mad at you for just chilling and not saying anything and just be like, we'll have our own event in 2 weeks. Like, I don't think people would be flipping over tables if they said that.
Yeah. I want to touch on a couple of games that are multi-platform that a lot of people were kind of excited about. One of them is Hades. Does Hades come into the consoles?
It is. It's coming
or
to
at least to Xbox and PlayStation,
yes,
and
both.
I guess PC. Or is
I
it
don't-
already? Is it already on
I
PC?
don't know if it's on the PC, but I know it's coming to the Xbox and the PlayStation on, I think it's
August
August
13th.
13th. Yeah, yeah. Which it's an amazing fucking game. Amazing game.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, this was one of the games that was nominated for Game of the Year, and
Yeah,
everyone
I
kept
had
talking about it. So I'm like, I'm gonna have a chance to play it because I don't own a Switch because it's on the Switch. Now it's coming to these two consoles. Now I'm like, oh, now I have a choice of which console I want to play it on. Now I can see what everyone's talking about and be all part of it. I heard the lore. Cronus broke down the story, and the story sounds crazy. So I'm like, dude, this could be on point. So I'm gonna check it out. It's probably gonna be like a $30 game or whatever. So I'm interested. Should be cool. And then the other one is Diablo 2. I guess that's gonna be on all the
It's
consoles.
a remake, but yeah, it's a
Yeah,
remaster, which is cool because I mean, Diablo 2 was fucking dope.
yeah. And then Among Us is coming to the box. I don't know if it's coming to the. I would imagine it's coming to the PlayStation. I don't see why it wouldn't. And then the one game that we saw like what last week ahead of E3 that everyone's still kind of talking about because they're still kind of on the fence or whatnot is Battlefield 2042. We talked about it a little bit last week. We got more of it, I guess, at a E3 sort of. Um,
Huh?
I don't know what y'all take on this after E3. Are you still on the fence? Do you
Well,
care?
no. I'm not on the fence. I'm going to contradict myself from what I said earlier. There was a game we mentioned earlier about having only one mode that was shown. It was Extraction. Yeah, so Extraction only showed one mode, but the mode they showed seemed interesting. The Battlefield, they didn't show any interesting modes. It was just, okay, it's multiplayer. And, I'm sorry, there's a hurricane. Okay. Like, okay, that's your whole spiel? Is that you got to play the same style of game with the hurricane?
But then they basically say the same trailer they released like last week. So, like, there's nothing new they showed us.
I mean, it looks cool, but yeah, it's like it's nothing. Like you're not gonna beat Call of Duty with that. I mean, Call of Duty is like the onslaught mode and the fucking. They have all these other crazy modes, you know, zombies and all this other shit that really invest you into playing the game. Unless Battlefield announces something like that, like you're getting left in the dust again for the sixth time.
So
You know?
we shall see. I mean, they have their state of play July 22nd. So if they don't show anything new, everyone's going to lose interest, and it's just going to get just beat up again. So what else
But I mean,
was on here?
I'm not really surprised because isn't Battlefield like an EA? Well, it's a dice game, but that's EA, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Dice. Yeah, it's an EA. It's in the EA family. So
Yeah, they're EA. They're in okay. Actually, no, they're not even okay. At this point, they're kind of subpar because they go way too much on the pay to win scheme and like all these crazy loot boxes and all this other shit. And yeah, don't get me wrong. Call of Duty does that a little bit too. But in Call of Duty, I've never paid anything extra on Call of Duty games. Nothing extra. And I can still enjoy the game. But I don't think that's going to be the same way with Battlefield.
yeah, I can see that because they have like little shortcuts that you can buy, so it basically levels you up faster. I was playing Battlefield 5. They have like a kit shortcut you can buy to give you like all the unlocks for a particular class. And it's like, I'm not going to invest money in that. I'll just play the game. Whatever I get, I get. So we'll see what happens with Battlefield 2042. So I guess those are the games that we gave a shit about. Is there any other ones that somebody wanted to talk about? Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta do this. Capcom. Capcom shows up and showed us shit that we already knew. Prodigy's up here fucking sucking them off like, oh, you guys are great show, just not all in my face. Yeah, I'm like, okay, hold on. Look, I understand that very well released games. Well, games that were well received. Resident Evil Village was well received, sold very well. Monster Hunter Rise, which is on the Switch, sold fairly well. There's a PC version coming. What they showed during their presentation was One, DLC that was supposed to launch with the game. We were told this April of 2020 that on day one, this mode would be in the game. We were told this kind of in March that the mode would be available if you buy the game, but they kind of cut the part out saying it's going to be there day one. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then the game comes out and I'm like, oh, we're going to release this in the fall. So I'm like, well, what the fuck? And then we see that, hey, this mode's still coming. It's like, yeah, you told us this is coming because you delayed it. We're supposed to get it day one, and I played the beta. I'm not exactly hyped for this DLC because there's only one map, and it's like in this really small area. For some reason, Capcom still has issues with their characters running. Instead, they jog. I'm like, dude, you're getting chased by horrible monsters, and we're like light jogging. And the only Resident Evil games that you can run is maybe Revelations in Part 6. So it's like Capcom shows up with stuff that's like year-old content and maybe some skins for Monster Hunter Rise, and then that's it. They're like, okay, thanks guys for playing our games. It's like, where was Street Fighter 6? Where was a Mega Man revival? None of that was there. Where's potentially a new Resident Evil like Revelations 4 or whatnot? None of that was there. Maybe like a new Bionic Commando, maybe first person or third person version. Nope, none of that stuff was there. So it's like, why even show up if y'all ain't gonna show you're gonna show us shit we already know is coming, and then you're just gonna reiterate shit that we already know. Like, why'd y'all show up?
Yeah,
what's the point?
It's all good.
Like, we know that you have games that are out in the market and selling. I could literally log off, walk down the street, and go buy the game. What are you gonna show me that I should be interested in that you're making? We didn't get that. None of that. None.
Capcom came to the barbecue with forks and knives.
Plastic forks and knives.
No, they came with potato salad with raisins.
Oh,
fuckers, man.
Damn.
Oh, man.
So I was just like, dude, there's no point in Capcom being there. I'm sorry. They didn't need to be there. They just wasted time with bullshit. Like, just like Take-Two, like, if you're going to show up to a trade show, show up with something that fans want to be excited about. Like, I get it. I know that you guys got hacked. I know that the information was out there about games that you guys had in work, and one of them was Street Fighter 6. There was some other stuff also. None of that got touched upon. Nothing. We got nothing. Why are you even there? You all didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm. What was funny is that they tried, like their intro and stuff like that was pretty fucking dope and stuff like that, but their shit was hella fucking glitchy. Like the host, when she started to come on, like the music started playing, and all of a sudden it dropped off, and then it started playing again. I'm like, okay, you guys need to get your shit together. Like, I know the shit's probably pre-recorded, but come on, bro. But then also, like, one of the things from, maybe I'm just an old man on the fucking yard telling kids to get off the fucking yard, but like, I don't like listening to hosts going by like their gamer tag. Like, I need like real fucking names. Like, I don't need like.
Hold on.
Double dick down.
Really, Blue?
What a
Really,
yeah.
Blue?
I guess that's true.
Hey,
They rewind the tape.
This fucking
No. But no, I guess I wanted to hear from like game developers and like really get to know these people. But like, yeah, once again, I'm just that old man yelling off my front porch, get off my yard.
No, I get it, man. On some aspect, I mean, we basically use different names to protect our identities. You know, they're not really that protected, but you know, it's fine. Like,
yeah.
I wonder if that's how like younger people. I need to talk to somebody that's young. Like, when I go by, you know, Cronus is this super weird that some old ass fucking man is like going by some weird nickname that he got when he was like in his teenage years. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't give a fuck. I still game.
Yeah. 1v1 me, bro. Besides those little kids. 1v1 me, bro.
You know, another problem I have with E3, which is maybe it's old man on the yard again, is that there was way too much coverage. It was fucking hard to try to find like the right source of information. Like when you did like a quick like YouTube Google search or something like that, there's so much fucking content that's out there that it was hard to find like the right one. Like I don't care about fucking Debbie down the street watching E3 giving her a reaction. Like I need to see I need to see E3 for my own self.
Yeah, so this
That's
is.
just kind of hard to find.
I think this is the G4 effect. So, G4 obviously they're recombining like Voltron right now to form a network again. But the problem is that obviously they weren't covering E3 at all, as far as I know, which is a shame. I had to go through mainly IGN and like a couple other places, but it's like when you click on those links of like, hey, E3 coverage, and then it's like a countdown timer to like when the actual what happens. Like that's a fucking bummer.
Yeah, it is.
What I miss, like what G4 did, where I could turn on TV and see them covering like the whole floor. Obviously, there's no floor because of COVID. I get that. But covering the floor and like everything else that's going on besides like the actual announcements. I missed that shit. Hopefully next year, I hope that G4 can get their, network rights and like get an actual channel on cable again, and then cover E3 and other various, Gamescom and a bunch of other gaming events, and like show us like some behind the scenes along with gaming announcements. Because I got to be honest with you, like it's difficult for me to like watch IGN in their current capacity and like their current talent pool, and like
They're so bad.
watch them like just kind of bullshit about games. I'm just like, I don't know what it is. I like watching Adam Sessler and Kevin Pereira and Morgan Webb. I like watching them bullshit about stuff, about gaming and like seeing them on the floor. And without them, man, it's like it's hard for me to get interested. Like, and then I watch these, the presentations. And it's like, yeah, the presentations they're cool, but what's going on in between the presentations? This year, obviously, this is like it's different because there was no in between. But yeah, it's kind of a letdown. But knowing that G4 is like they're almost there, like they're almost all the way back. Like I really want them to get back because I think that there is a place for aging gamers, like all of us, watching other aging gamers like talk about the gaming industry because it's a lot of people, and I think people kind of discount that.
All right, we got Stitch on the show. Stitch, we've had this topic. I'm sorry, we're moving away from E3, but Stitch, we gotta get you. We gotta talk to you about this one. This one here. It's kind of a little bit of a throwback also to one of your projects, but these chicken sandwiches that everyone keeps popping up with. Everyone keeps going out. Everyone's trying to get the perfect chicken sandwich. A lot of places are out there with one. I think almost every chain has put their hat in the ring now. Have you had a chance to sample some of this stuff? Are you going to do a Shogugeki about this? What's going on? What's going on with this?
I have. It was so funny because I passed by a Chick-fil-A maybe like last week, and I was like, I haven't been to Chick-fil-A in a minute, and I mean, Popeyes killed their chicken sandwich, at least in my opinion. I love the Popeyes one. It's so good. I've tried. I think Jack in the Box had one.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good. I enjoyed that. That was pretty nice. I give it a nice little good rating. I have not tried the McDonald's one, and I think Burger King has one.
Burger King has one. So does KFC. KFC has a chicken sandwich out now.
I want some chickens with some bones in it if I'm going to KFC. Like I'm not really all about the chicken sandwich for KFC.
I've had it, and it's actually pretty. It's a good contender. I've not tried the Burger King one or the McDonald's one. I feel like Wendy's. I think Wendy's has their hat in the ring too now.
Yeah, where I live, I kind of have to go out of the way to get to the KFC by me. So it's like I have to pass by a Popeyes. I pass by like several Jack in the Boxes. It's like all the way on the other end of the city I live in. So I don't really hit up KFC as often as I would probably like to. So when I do crave KFC, I normally get like a bucket of wings and stuff, and just get like a
Okay.
family
I feel
meal.
it.
Same thing with the Burger King. The Burger King, for some weird ass reason, there's not that many in Livermore for some weird ass reason, and it's still like kind of randomly out there.
Oh,
Oh wow.
whoa. What was that?
I think that was
Are we under
blue.
I
attack?
don't know.
What was that?
That was blue.
I
I
don't
think it
know.
wasn't me.
I think that was blue. Blue blew something up. Oh, he lost power.
Oh shit.
This is all dark. Oh, man. Well,
Oh,
his camera still
Is
works.
he in a fight? Oh, there we go.
No,
Oh, he's back.
I was trying to turn off the light in the hallway, and I was fucking around. I turned off the light in my office. I was like, oh shit, I'm light. Well,
But I
I
haven't got to try all the chicken sandwiches. Probably I do want to try the Burger King one, because the Burger King one seems pretty good, and they were taking shots at Chick-fil-A, which I like the pettiness and stuff. So I'm down for a little chicken sandwich rivalry, but I still have the Popeyes one on top of the food chain. But I also know the reason I haven't been getting my little chicken fill is because chicken's been going up. Price on chicken has been rising. Like,
Price
they've been
of
having
everything.
chicken shortages and everything. But
damn.
I'm just like, normally a chicken sandwich is kind of like a quick kind of filling meal, but it's supposed to be like inexpensive. So like when they're advertising like the chicken sandwich for like $2.99 or something, all right, yeah, that's cool. I can pick up a chicken sandwich and eat it real quick, and then I'll prep dinner later. But if I'm going and getting a chicken sandwich and it's $6 just for the sandwich, and if I want like a drink and whatever, then it's like $9. I'm like, why don't I just get like a regular meal and stuff? So that's another reason why I haven't been going as hard on the chicken sandwich game as of late.
I think the people deserve a Shokugeki on Stitch's ratings on these chicken sandwiches. Like, who's going to be on top? Which contenders are on there? The people need answers.
Yeah, this is true. And then also, I mean, when I'm getting into that stage of like fatherhood where it's like, all right, I need to make sure I'm giving the little Storm good quality food and stuff. So I'm like in the store looking at ingredients, making sure like the iron content and the fiber and all kinds of nutritious shit. So I think I've gotten her maybe like 2 Happy Meals just for entertainment purposes, to watch her open up a fucking toy and stuff like that. But I've been mainly just sort of like making meals as of late, as we sort of wind down on the end of quarantine life. But I haven't really like gotten too much. I haven't gotten nearly as much fast food as I did before quarantine. I've been mainly just, when I do have to go to the supermarket, buying stuff in bulk and then just cooking, grilling chicken and meal prepping or doing whatever.
Oh my god, bro! I just went through probably, I don't know how many pork chops, but I just meal.
That's what I had today.
Oh, are you serious? So hold on, I'll pull up like a picture. But I went through probably, it had to be at least 6 pounds of fucking pork chops that I meal
dang.
prepped.
The family packs at like Safeway and stuff, you get like a big ass variety pack of pork chops for like $7.
So this was like a whole
Damn.
bunch of this.
Nice.
This is 5 packages of pork chops that I vacuum sealed with various seasonings and marinades that I'll freeze and then I'll pull out later. Because I got off today was a shit day at work for me. It was fucking terrible. I'm not gonna go deep into it, but I didn't get off work until like I didn't get any lunch. I didn't get to work out, so I had to work out like kind of after work, and it was fucking terrible. And then, K-Mac and Riley get home. They're like, well, what's for dinner? I'm like, well, I don't want to cook. But then I saw that I had like 6 pounds of fucking pork chops in the refrigerator. And I was like, I bought them from Costco the other day, and I was like, I've had a couple times where like literally I bought like that amount of meat from Costco, and then I didn't cook them like right away, and they went bad. I'm like, it's not gonna happen today. So it's like I'm just gonna prep them and then get them ready to go. So I cooked K-Mac 1 pork chop like normally, and then I was like, the rest of these are getting vacuum sealed and marinated, and I'll toss them in the freezer, and then we'll get them prepped for sous vide. But it's just like, yeah, it's kind of the same deal. Like I haven't eaten like a lot of fast food. I've eaten like a lot of restaurant food through delivery, but like fast food not so much. And like I've been doing like a lot of like just cooking in general. over the past year, and definitely meal prepping and using the sous vide method has been like made it really easy to like get through, eating different foods and not buying too much. But even then, like the prices for like meat have gone up, like they've skyrocketed. I remember like when COVID first started, like buying ribeyes was not that expensive. Like I can get like 3 or 4 ribeyes through Costco for like $40, maybe $50, and now it's like $80, $90 for the same
Damn.
ribeyes. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? But I'm doing it through Instacart, so I don't know how much it is in the actual store.
Oh, okay.
But it's still like, even like I said last year, it wasn't that expensive even through Instacart to get ribeyes, and now it's like damn near $100 to get the same amount of ribeyes when last year was like $40, $50. And the price of wood has gone up astronomically, but it's like these are all things that are, that happen because of basically COVID, and the price of shit is going up because we don't have the same amount of people to harvest these various goods. Because like if you look at like the meatpacking industry, like COVID just tore through all of them.
Yeah.
So we heard about it last year, but it took a long time for the prices to catch up. But we're seeing it now. And the wood I didn't see coming at all. The wood is fucking insane right now.
Yeah,
Insane.
I've heard horror stories about that.
Yeah, like I want to build like get another fence built. But the price of wood is like it would cost me what would have cost me $750 2 years ago is now like $4,000.
Good God.
Yeah, I'm like no, like, whatever.
Actually, I know someone that works at a lumber yard, and he was talking about that stuff skyrocketing, and he said it's going to get worse.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm like, oh, that's great. That's just great.
You know what's interesting? Today, this is gonna sound weird as fuck, but today I made hamburgers with my sous vide thing.
Oh, I've done it before too, plenty of times.
Yeah, and it fucking came out great.
Yeah.
And like you cook in the sous vide, walk away, just let it do its thing, and just come back and just take it out and just sear it real quick on the fucking pan for like a minute or two, both sides. Bam, perfect fucking hamburger.
Dude, you know what I did? I use a method where I'll use like a some ground beef or ground bison, which is basically beef, and I'll season the meat. Then I will make a patty on one side, and then I'll slice up long ways, well not long ways, short ways I guess, like red peppers, and then I'll put it in the middle of the patty that I made, and I'll take some low moisture mozzarella. I'll put it in the middle of the red pepper. Then I'll put another patty on top of that, like that, with the ground beef, same seasoning, and then I'll seal it all together, and I'll toss it in the sous vide. And then when you sear it, the cheese melts all together. Like obviously you cook it, then you sear it. The cheese melts, it's all sealed, and the red pepper like keeps it all like together nicely, and it's like a nice little treat. You eat your hamburger. So that's a sous vide.
Wait.
Sounds hella good.
You're saying you made a ghetto burger? Like the one at
It's not chopped up.
Ain't no bell peppers in McDonald's burgers.
Yeah, it's not chopped up. I mean, it is chopped, but not like small pieces.
No, that sounds good because like I would think like having the bell peppers would help kind of help because when I threw it in the vacuum sealed bag, it kind of squashed the patty a little bit. So having the bell pepper in there it seems like it might help it keep its shape a little bit.
Yeah, so that's one thing that's definitely like a downside of when you're vacuum sealing ground beef. So my old, I have 2 different vacuum sealers. One has like a different setting for sealing, so it's kind of lighter, so it doesn't like squish the meat as much. So you might want to like think about getting another one just to like not seal as hard as, because I have like I forget the one I have now, but there's like another one I have now that definitely seals better. But it seals a little harder than the other one.
Well, I was using fucking turkey meat, so that's probably why it looked.
Yeah, that's another reason why.
Yeah, and it was pre-made, so it wasn't like I rolled the patty out. So, but I mean, it still came out great. Like it still was fucking tasty. It just was flat as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, damn, this is starting to make me a little bit hungry.
Keep going.
So Blue
Yes.
You used to watch Cowboy Bebop, correct?
Yes.
So, what do you think of the upcoming Netflix show with John Cho in the title role? Because last week, there were some promotional pictures that were released for the upcoming show, and people were talking about how John Cho's hair was very similar, kind of on point to the lead characters. What do you think? What do you think about the show upcoming? Are you scared that this is going to turn into shit? What are your thoughts?
Oh god, American made anime has all been fucking crap. So I have very, very, very low expectations for this franchise or for this
So
movie.
this
It's
is
gonna, it's
live
gonna,
action. This is live action.
well,
Live
I know
action
what I'm
TV
saying.
series. Okay.
Even though it's live action, but it's American. Like it's made here in America, so it's gonna be fucking. I have very, very. Cause look at God, I'm thinking that fucking movie. Death Note.
Death Note.
Death Note was. I don't care who. If you loved it, fuck you. That shit was boo boo garbage. Like the fact, right when light fucking screen when you see Royuk, I was like, fuck this. I can't watch it. I was gonna turn off at that point, but I'm still gonna watch it. I'm gonna give it a chance because maybe it might be good. But like, if this was like, because they made a live action version of Bleach that Netflix picked up, but it was made in Japan, so it was actually fucking legit. Like it looked like it just came out of the straight from the anime. But I don't know, man. This one's gonna be a hard sell for me. How about you? What's your take
Yeah.
on it?
I've never. So, truth be told, I've never watched Cowboy Bebop, and
What?
I know. Yeah, I've never seen it, and I know it's a huge staple for a lot of people. I respect the fan base and whatnot because I'm not like Prodigy shitting on shit that I've never seen before. So I know how popular it is. I do like John Cho as an actor. I think he should be a household name. He should be an A-lister at this point, in my opinion. Um, it's funny, but we have a Bushmaster who's going to be in the show. He plays Jet Black, even though he is black. So that's going to be. I don't know how they're going to avoid like the jokes from that stuff or the memes that are coming, but I'm interested in the live action series. I mean, I know it'll probably be shorter. It'll probably be like a 10, 13 episode per season. So we'll see how it works out. I do want to check this out though. I want to see what this is about, and then
It
I'll
looks
probably
like.
go back and watch the anime because the anime actually ended, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it did a long fucking time ago. But like, the little girl from Modern Family is gonna be playing Rain. Rain, I think that's her name. Um,
Rain?
so the little girl that's the gay couple's daughter.
Okay.
She's gonna play with the young girl from the anime, and I've kind of been wondering like where has she been up to since the series since Modern Family ended. But yeah, like hey Bushmaster, say my name.
Say she name right.
Yeah, I think
Stokes.
I can see what he does. I mean, the cast so far seems pretty decent, but like, yeah, man, American made anime live actions are yeah.
Rough.
There's no good track history.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. We'll see how this works out. This is releasing later this year. I don't know if there's an actual. I don't know where the release date is, but the pictures, a lot of people were kind of hyped about. At least it looked like it. So we shall see.
I'm trying to find any images that released.
Yeah, still called John
Yeah,
Chu.
yeah,
Oh,
I just saw it right now. Like, yeah, I mean, you can't like the one thing with anime is that like it's really hard to try to redo the hairstyles from anime. So it's decent, but I guess we'll just see. Because one thing about the main character from Cowboy Bebop is his fighting style is very like laid back and loose. So I, he just gotta capture that character for me to be like really interested in the series.
We'll see. I mean, I'll give it a chance. I know that John Cho like broke his leg or broke something.
yeah, he had
Saw
an
something.
accident. Something.
Yeah. So we'll see like how well the action sequences go because yeah, Spike Spiegel was like an excellent fighter in the show, but it was also like super laid back. So we'll see. It's very rare that you have a decent live action anime anything. So maybe Netflix will crack the code.
So, John Cho had a knee injury
Hmm.
after the first three episodes, and it looks like Shinichiro Watanabe, the director of the series, he's involved with the live action show.
Good, and so is the composer, the main composer of the original show. So
So this could be a hit. We don't know, but I mean, I think with John Cho in the lead, I think that's perfect casting. So we'll
Uh,
still see.
yeah, I will say. I just wanted to say, like, for Ready Player One, the original writer over the book was the
He wrote
screenwriter.
the script. Yeah, he wrote the
Yeah,
script for this
and
film.
it still sucked. So just because
Eh,
of
yeah,
I
the
enjoyed the
composer.
film. So for me, I watched the film before I read the book. So I watched the film and I immediately bought the book right after. And there's a huge difference between the book and the film. But
yeah.
I still enjoyed the film because I watched it first and then read the book.
Well, I mean,
So I know that they're trying to fast track part two. I have part two right next to me, but I haven't read it yet.
yeah, I've read it, but when it comes to Ready Player One, it's literally impossible for them to make the exact same or anywhere near the same live action as the book because you'd have to they have to buy out so many rights. It'd be like $1 trillion movie.
Hmm.
I mean, probably not a trillion, but it'd be a
It'd be
very
very
expensive.
expensive.
Just for like the rights of music alone and various other throwbacks to movies and shit like that. Like it's too expensive. But in a book you can do it because when somebody says you can write something like, oh, in the background they were playing, When Doves Cry by Prince, but you're not
Mhm.
gonna get hit by, Prince's whatever.
The
What do they
state.
call it? Like yeah,
His
his
estate.
estate, like wanting money because like you're playing his song. It's like no, I just said the name of the song in the book, so you're not getting hit by some legal fucking shit. But if you do it in a movie, you play the song, then you gotta pay them fucking royalties. You gotta pay that money.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I
uh,
understand like the whole royalty thing, but like they changed the rules to the game. They got rid of like the keys and then like the doors and I mean
no, there's keys.
there's time constraint, but the keys didn't open like the doors and like there's like mini games and stuff that they played and but then again I guess that does come back down to royalties as well because some of the games they played were
Yeah.
like stuff you needed
Oh
license
yeah,
for.
Yep, like
yeah,
Pac-Man.
yeah. Especially if like it's from an entity that like disbanded, and then you have to track them down and be like, hey, can we use this? Well, it's like, well, this one person would say that, hey, I'm the sole owner, and then someone comes out of the woodwork like, hey, I was part of this too. I want my cut, and then becomes a legal nightmare. Another thing that happens in the book, they mention the Enterprise in the book. Like he had the Enterprise in his like asteroid, and
Hmm.
like you'd have to go through Paramount, and I
More
don't
than
think
that,
Paramount.
yeah. He had the
Yeah, but that
Enterprise.
was just one of them. He
Yeah.
had the Millennium Falcon. He had all that. I mean, even though Steven Spielberg has that kind of pull, getting all that together is still expensive and most likely like probably not going to happen. You'd wait like 5 years just to get a yes to use it in your film.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, the book is good, but also the book. To be honest, I mean I read a lot of books now, and when it comes to books like Ready Player One, they will never become a classic book because there are too many pop culture references in the book. Way
mhm.
too many. Like the references they're good for our generation and a few years in between, but when it comes to like 50 years from now, nobody's gonna get like these references anymore. They're not gonna get it at all, and so it's not gonna stand the test of time. And I wish that some of these writers, some of these authors would stop using so many pop culture references. 'Cause, yeah, it's cool for me. Like I get the appeal, but it's like I want your work, your literary work, to last for ages, not just for 30, 40 years and then they're irrelevant. It'll never be a Lord of the Rings or even like a fucking Harry Potter book. You know, because in Harry Potter they use like basically no pop culture references. Even in fucking Twilight, there was no pop culture references really in there at all. And you do that because you know that pop culture changes with the time. And if you keep putting out all the references over time, nobody's gonna fucking get it. They're not gonna
Yeah,
get.
they become obscure. I mean, but then again, I think with Ready Player One, because the book is about a scavenger hunt. If you're reading the book again in 50 years, the book is basically a scavenger hunt.
A history book.
Yeah, it becomes a book about you scavenging for this information to these references. You're like, hey, this literary prose is very interesting. What are these references? And then you end up researching and whatnot. Who knows what's going to happen in 50 years? Maybe there's some ocular implant you can just like look. Maybe there's like some augmented book reading when you're reading the book through like like an old hardcover and you're reading it through like some augmented glasses or contacts, like all these references point up where you can research. You just like touch the air and all these like information pops up. You never know.
It's gonna be like Back to the Future 2. How like we had Back to the Future had their idea of what the future was gonna be like, and Back to the Future took place in 2015. Here we are 6 years fucking later, and like we still ain't got no hoverboard, we ain't no flying cars. But like if you go back and read that, you're like, wow, like their depiction of the future was. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they got right, but like there's some stuff that's like, okay, I got missed on this.
Yeah, I don't need flying cars. I don't need someone that's pissed off and then driving their car into like a high rise or something, or some little kid on a hoverboard trying to think he can race on the freeway or something.
Stunning and shit for TikTok.
You know what's amazing?
Yeah.
It's the seamless immersion of technology into our bodies. What I've noticed through like cycling through like the Peloton, so I'm going to buy like eventually like a gravel bike, which is basically like a road bike that can kind of go off road. And I've been noticing recently like the fact that most cyclists they use technology like to like an extreme degree to like just like get better at like basic fitness. So Blue, you have a road bike, don't you? So now they have, I didn't know this, but they have like power meters on bikes now that you can use to like I didn't know what a power meter was until like I started, using the Peloton bike, like learning like how many like outputs and watts and stuff like that, and like my heart rate and like when to rest, when to like surge and do all these things. And at this point, I'm like, why don't I just put the fucking watch shit in my goddamn arm? So like all the time, you can just like read all. It's annoying to me, like because I have like. I wear my watch on the inside of my wrist, unlike most people that wear on the outside. But I wear it on my inside, and like it actually irritates the inside of my wrist sometimes. So I have to like when even though this thing it's waterproof, I can literally swim with this. I have before, but I'll take it off to like the shower. But like other than that, like it's on all the time. I'm like just like embedded in my body. Like I don't really give a shit. And like it's connected to my phone, and my phone tells me like basically fucking everything. It tells me what like how good I slept. How much energy I'm supposed to have throughout the day, when I'm working out, how much I exerted myself, and it's just like at this point, it's like these are things that probably everybody should have, to like understand like why they're tired and why they're not, but we just like exported it to like an external device to our bodies. But I think sometime soon, this is gonna be like an internal device because to me it's annoying to have like this watch all the time. Like just give me a small chip in my, hopefully. That you can't hack, you can't read it. But even if you could read it, I don't give a shit if you know my heart rate. I don't really care.
We're circling the bowl of fucking Black Mirror and Love Death Robot.
Yeah, for real.
I know, right?
It's getting inconvenient to like have like this thing that reads all these metrics, but still external to my body. And like the vast majority of athletes that are like doing like all these like power zone trainings and heart rate zones and all these other things. Like it's inconvenient to like have an external device like on your body to like take all these readings. So I think pretty soon, I'm probably gonna say within like probably the next 20 years, maybe less, there's gonna be like somebody's gonna come up with like the implant for fitness tracking, and I'll probably sign up for it because it's inconvenient to like keep wearing a fucking watch connected to my phone, for like all these readings.
Be like fucking like stuff from Futurama having that like thing on her arm.
Yeah.
We all different readings.
But I mean, it's legit though, because like, what this watch has told me is like my this is something I already knew. I sleep light all the time, I almost never go into like deep sleep because I wake up like instantly. This PTSD mostly. So anything goes off in the house, like I wake up a little bit, and it's always light sleep. And so it's funny because like over the past ever since I had this fucking watch, I go through the app every night. It's poor sleep. Every night, poor sleep, poor sleep. Because I go into deep sleep. The maximum I've gone into deep sleep is 35 minutes, and I've had this watch for like more than a month. Everything else is light or REM sleep, back into light sleep, or I'm awake, and there's no in between. And then I'm wondering like why like my energy sometimes is like kind of low. It's because I never get deep sleep ever. And now I'm trying to figure out like how can I get deep sleep? I can't get it through booze or melatonin or any other means. I've tried, and I can never get into like deep sleep for like more than 35 minutes. So
Oh, you got to chase the dragon, bro.
No, I'm not doing that. But just saying, I'll figure out something. Bad. Just to get some deep sleep. But I feel in the mornings I don't feel that bad, but then when it comes to like sometimes I push my workouts and then I'll feel like shit, and then I look at like they have a thing called a body battery. And it's like, oh, you're at 11%. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, I feel like 11%.
Fucking body battery. That sounds all bad. Now we're in the Matrix. We're about to start powering like machines and shit.
Maybe need to go float.
You know what? That's actually something I'm probably gonna do. I'm glad you brought that up, man. Because I was wondering like when can I do that, but I'm vaccinated now, so I can do that now. I do need to go float. You're right. What
you float too?
Say again.
I said you'll float too.
Yeah. What Blue's talking about is like before COVID, I used to do the sensory deprivation flotation tank like every now and again, just to like reset my body. But I haven't done it in like over a year because COVID, because I didn't want to go into a tank. But yeah, maybe I'll make that more of a priority. I'm taking a week off, not next week, but the week after that. So maybe I'll take some time to do that, schedule something. Yeah, that'll probably help.
Right on. Have y'all had a chance to watch Loki yet?
Yes.
Not a recent episode, but I saw last week.
Okay. Yeah, last week was an interesting start, I would say.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it drops, the new episode drops every Wednesday, so our 48-hour window, we can't really talk about today's episode, or we can talk about last week's episode that day. But
yeah, today's episode came out today, so I saw it earlier, so I'm not going to speak on it, but last week's episode, we can speak on it all day.
Yeah, last week's was I think it was a decent start. I know people are saying that maybe it was a little slow or whatever, but I'm like, you have to start from somewhere, and like you can't always hit the ground running. So I liked what they did. I think it's cool to like show more of a celestial side of Marvel, because they need to do this for the next phase. I think Marvel needs to go to like the whole celestial phase, because they already introduced Thanos, and they're gonna have the Eternals movie, and that should have Celestials at least mentioned in it. So I think this is a smart move to like show like there's like way more powerful beings than Thanos and all those other villains that you've seen in the MCU so far. So yeah, I think it's good. Like showing that they could like basically manhandle a god was great.
Yes, that's just pretty funny.
Yeah, the scene that tripped me up probably the most is that one of the workers at the TVA, which is the Time Variance Authority, is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one of the guys that works there, he didn't know what a fish was or whatever.
Yeah.
Or chicken or something, and then he had a drawer. He had a drawer that was full of Infinity Stones, and the stones had no effect at the TVA. They had they had like no meaning. There were paperweights in this area, just to give you like an idea of what kind of power they wield in this realm, where Infinity Stones mean nothing.
Yeah, that was kind of cool, because like when Loki first gets the Tesseract, the blue stone, it's bright blue, it's glowing like crazy. But once you get into the TVA, the shit's like dimming, and like it like dims more and more. Like once Loki realized that like it has no fucking power there, like it's almost like damn near like a blue box with like a slight glow to it. But like Sorry, it was just funny like how that drawer had a bunch of Infinity Stones, and it just shows you how there's been so many different time variants that they had to fucking stop regarding the Infinity Stones because like I think what the Time Stone like that one every time they use that that's got to create a different variant because they're going back in time and fucking up what kind of rewind the tape a little more. They go into why there is a TVA. Basically, whenever somebody diverged from the original timeline, it caused another timeline to happen, and basically the TVA goes in there, destroys that timeline, finds out what that variant is, and bring them either destroy them or bring them back to where they need to be. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, with the Infinity Stone, like they can call ruckus all through the timeline. So I can see that that's the reason why there's so many of those stones in the drawer and why so many people use that paperweight inside of the facilities.
They probably picked up a few, and we got a glimpse of what they're trying to do from Endgame. In Avengers Endgame, the Ancient One talks about what happens when you remove a stone and the timeline changes. And it looks like they're doing the same thing, but they keep the stone, I guess a set of stones in each particular timeline, perhaps. And anytime someone kind of deviates, they have to reset them or they disintegrate them, which is interesting. Um, it looked like there might have been an Easter egg with Peggy Carter because
Yeah, I saw that.
there's a little blink and you might miss it instance where one of the gateway opens and one of the agents escorts a woman that looks like Peggy Carter very very quickly into the TVA, and Loki catches it and he's like kind of just like, did I just see what I think I saw? But he keeps it moving. So it'll be interesting if they come back to that, if that was just a little fun Easter egg they threw at us.
Well,
I mean, okay.
sorry, one of the biggest Easter eggs they had in the whole show, which actually explains why the Infinity Stones don't work in the TVA, is the Living Tribunal, and so he's one of the most powerful beings in Marvel. And so I don't know if you guys noticed, but like when they showed like there was like a sort of like a plaque of like three faces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's the Living Tribunal, like together. And well, there it's a single person, but like the head has three different faces on it, and he can or it can nullify the Infinity Stones because it's so powerful. It's basically all of his stats are maxed out as far as the MCU goes, or the Marvel universe goes in general. Like I think the Beyonder killed him, but it was the Beyonder is like outside of really anything inside the Marvel universe. But
I can never take the Beyonder seriously because he's dressed like a '70s Elvis like
yeah,
impersonator.
yeah.
I can never take that dude serious. I'm like, this dude's a cosmic being. This is fucking Elvis, who can make him so big or small and do all this crazy shit. It's just weird.
But yeah, having the Living Tribunal in the MCU definitely brings them into like the more cosmic, celestial level um, of the MCU, which it could be potentially really good if they tell the right stories. Like I said, the Eternals should go more into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, should be great.
Well,
Um,
I definitely liked how they so the whole reason why there's Loki is because he stole Tesseract from the attack on New York, and he basically became the variant. But like, I love how Loki was like, "Why are you guys after me? The Avengers started this fucking shit. Like, it's their fucking fault." Like, he mentioned how he could smell two different fucking Tonys or whatever off of his fucking Axe body spray. But like, they explained like how like the Avengers they were supposed to travel back in time. Like that was basically what was foretold basically in the older scrolls or whatever. But I don't know. It just this show just seems like it's gonna be fun and creative.
yeah, you guys gotta definitely watch the most recent episode. There's a lot more that goes down. But the first episode, I think that was a nice little kickoff. I think it didn't need to have like all kind of glitz and magic, at least for me. I just needed to know what happened to Loki when it took the Tesseract, and we got that. So, and then we see where he ended up, and then we're going from there. He's going on his own adventure. Will Loki become a hero? I think that's the whole basis of the series. So, We'll see.
More of a villain.
Or will he become more a villain? Or
Well, you know,
will he pretend to be a villain and double cross someone at the end?
you know what's funny is that like whenever it comes to like a time traveling like bureau that keeps track of like how time flows or whatever, it always seems to be stuck in like the 60s or 50s, at least for like Umbrella Academy on Netflix. Like that the time cops of that show were in that era. Like whenever they would show up their base or something like that, it was like old school. They had like old school fucking typewriters that they're typing on fucking like punch cards or some shit. But I just think it's funny like that era is where fucking time stopped or some shit. Like that was the golden era, and that's where like shit should always be.
Honestly, some fucked up white people shit. I think that's like their ideal. You know what I mean? This is when America was still great, when brown people had no rights and women had no rights. You know.
But we have a homegirl from Lovecraft that's in it, and she plays a fucking badass.
Oh yeah. She
Oh
does.
yeah, she was not Letty. She's Letty's sister.
Yeah.
In Lovecraft, but yeah, she's like head of security or whatnot. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm really interested in how the series go. There was one scene I had a problem with where Owen Wilson's character is talking to a girl in French, and he starts speaking to her in English, and he goes back to talking to her in French. It's like, okay, you said stuff to her in English that she probably doesn't understand if you know she only speaks French, and I think it's like 18 something or like it's some early century. So like this girl shouldn't know English at all. So there's no like loophole for this or whatever. But she did have some bubble gum and her teeth were blue.
I was disappointed that he never said, "Wow."
That's true.
That's what he did.
I mean, there's still more episodes to go, so you never know.
All right, you want to wrap it up? I guess we're missing our special guest. He had other meetings to go to, but thank goodness Blue joined us. So we had three. I like having three people.
Yeah. And Stitch showed up for a second.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
All right, so Ninja, what you got?
So California reopened up, I guess yesterday, but I'm still wearing my mask, and I got some plans to go to the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk on Friday, so I'll be there. Probably gonna do some dinner and be on the board. I'll probably be on the boardwalk for the majority of the day, and then do some dinner at the Crow's Nest. It's a nice little two-story restaurants on the beach and whatnot, overlooking right by the lighthouse. So probably out there all day Friday, and then about to finish Mass Effect 3. I've been kind of lagging on finishing. I'm trying to get back into Battlefield 5 a little bit because it's free on the PlayStation or free on PSN. So trying to get people to play. There's a lot of stuff to it, especially there's a lot of updates if you're trying to play. And then on Sunday night, Rick and Morty are back for season 5. I'll be watching that. It will be on HBO Max, I guess, the day that it drops, or at least maybe 12 to 24 hours later or whatnot. But it says all the episodes will be on HBO Max. I'll be watching the first episode definitely when that drops. And that's pretty much it for me.
All right, Blue, what you got?
So little Sebastian isn't as little as he used to be. Today he's officially 14 weeks, I think. 14 weeks. Fuck, I can't do the math anymore. Maybe 12 weeks. Anyways, he's actually going to be officially 3 months tomorrow, which is fucking crazy. He's definitely grown a lot, and seeing how he's changing and like his, like basically even the way he like cries and talks and shit like that is just fucking different. Even his fucking poops are different, which is fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
It's so weird how like he went from pooping like every fucking day to like maybe pooping like once a day. Like before he would poop every fucking like every diaper change was fucking doo-doo everywhere. But now it's like, yeah, he might poop once a day, once every other day. It was kind of fucking crazy. But yeah, so we're gonna hopefully be able to do a photo shoot with him this weekend. And this week is gonna do a photo shoot with him as well. Kind of recreate a maternity photo shoot with her. Father's Day, I think, is Sunday, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm
so
pretty sure.
celebrate my first.
The day that commemorates you two as fathers, y'all don't even know when it
I can't
is.
fucking remember.
Listen,
Oh man.
okay, so there's a misconception. I think most dads probably forget about Father's Day. This is probably like more of a comment on American society than anything else. But for most dads, it's just like, okay, it's a day. But
Yeah.
I think that Mother's Day, for the most part, is more important to like to most people. You know, like don't get me wrong, I enjoy getting gifts and seeing like what my kids give to me on Father's Day, but it has nowhere near the accolades as Mother's Day. Like I'm just being real with you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I-
you'll see, Blue. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you, but I think most dads that's the way it is.
Yeah.
We get
still
socks and fucking ties
tied.
and shit.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll get a nice little steak dinner or something like that. But we'll see. But yeah. Other than that, there's an anime I started watching on HBO Max. HBO Max got some anime on there, but it's called shit. What's it called?
Is it the
Had
Kanabari
it.
one?
Is it Genlock?
Kabanari?
No. It's shit. Kabanara of the Iron Fortress.
That's what I just said.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said, and like I had to look up the word. I didn't hear what it
Kabanari
was.
of the Iron Fortress. Yeah, the zombie
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah, that's just fucking dope and crazy as fuck. It's basically I've only watched the first episode, but it's like first episode was like Attack on Titan where shit hit the fan real fucking fast, and like you just weren't expecting shit to happen. But I'm liking the series so far. I hope I'm gonna continue watching it and have more feedback on that later on.
All
Good
right.
for me.
And for me, I did some more jujitsu last Saturday, and this time there was a brown belt that came out, and he fucked me up pretty good. It was
Damn.
great. It was great because the reason why it was great is because the brown belt that came out, he's the first person that I first of all met doing jujitsu, first person I drilled with doing jujitsu, and the first person that I really rolled with doing jujitsu. And he's a good dude. He actually lives like right across the street from K-Mac's parents, which is kind of fucking hilarious because I didn't realize that until like a year after I was doing jujitsu. And I thought that he was going to be out of shape coming back doing jiu-jitsu, but apparently he's doing like crazy kettlebell workouts, and I would say he's in better shape than he was when we last rolled like over a year ago, and he's a much better athlete, and he pretty much destroyed me. But I mean, I did okay, you know. I kept up, but he submitted me a bunch of times. I got him once. Not that it fucking really matters, but you know, I was happy that I got him once. But yeah, seeing him back on the mats was great, and seeing him still in better shape than when I last saw him was excellent. So I'm happy about that, and hopefully we'll be able to roll again soon. Hopefully we'll be able to hang out at his place and roll again. Other than that, you know, California reopened, and I'm still gonna wear my mask at least for at least month. After a month, if the numbers are still down, then I won't wear a mask in public for probably the foreseeable future. But there's another crazy variant that's going around, and I don't know how well the vaccine that I got is gonna set up to that. So I'm gonna keep wearing the mask for a little bit. But yeah, after a while, you know, it's gonna go. So then I'll get back to normal. I think at this point with the podcast, we could all probably see each other. We all can see each other again. So we have literally no excuse to not be in the same building again. We're all vaccinated. We can all see each other again. I need just a slight reconfiguration of the Infinity base to fit all you guys in. But as far as I'm concerned, next week if you guys want to come out, come to the Infinity base. You got to help me move some shit around, but we can do this in the Infinity base next week as far as I'm concerned. I miss you guys.
Holy snap!
Yeah.
That's like That's like a milestone moment right there.
Yeah, it really is. So
Did
go ahead.
did Prodigy ever give an announcement on his big announcement on the podcast?
because
He hasn't been back.
Yeah, he hasn't been
Okay.
back. He's been gone for like basically a month, but hopefully we'll have him on for
Next week, hopefully.
next week if we can get us all in the same studio. Let's do it next week. I'm down to do it. K-Mac is okay with it, so let's do it. Yeah, that's basically all I got. I miss you guys.
For sure. Upgrades. I can't wait. Base looks fucking amazing just through the camera, so can't wait.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of like comic books and shit in the background, but I can clean it all up.
Yeah, it's all good. All right.
Take us out of here, old ninja.
So you just experienced Black and the Black Times Infinity,
Infinity.
the Dankers podcast on the internet. Check us out anywhere and everywhere with BThanBTI. It's BTHANBTI. Anywhere and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Check out our official website, binheadproductions.com/BThanBTI. And then you can email us anytime at BThanBTI@gmail.com. We have a Discord. If you want to get on the Discord, you can email us, ask for an invite, and we'll see about letting you in, being part of the Infinity Vault. And then on Amazon, we have an app, actually. It's written by a friend. It'll let you know when we go live, and you can watch us through the app. There you go.
All right, we're out this bitch. Peace.